I've always knew I was a bit different and not necessarily in a queer way. I think I was quite the spectacle at school. I think I turned a lot of heads just in the way I looked. Generally, the reception of my gender has been quite positive, though I think there are a few people who are still quite uncertain about it all. And I think because I view gender as a kind of malleable, playful thing, and I think a lot of people in our society still view it as something quite concrete. I'm very proud of my identity, and I will gladly speak about my non-binary journey and who I am as a person, because I love the progress that I've made. However, I think recently it's become, I guess the responsibility of trans people to educate other people, and actually it's the duty of cisgendered people not in the queer community to educate themselves. It's not our job to do so, and we're not walking resources that you can just pick up. I think we're human beings trying to kind of survive in this society that won't accept us. My kind of relationship with my body has fluctuated quite a bit since coming out as non-binary. I think I experienced a lot of kind of body dysmorphia in the sense, I think largely due to lack of representation. I think I've been so kind of indoctrinated to believe what all these genders should wear, and I think sometimes it's hard for my own mind and my own kind of misogyny to get past it. And I do get quite frustrated when I think men in particular try to put me in a box. For example, they'll ask, "Oh, are you going to get sex reassignment surgery?" And it's quite frustrating because actually surgery is very important for some people, for some trans people, but actually it isn't the end goal for everyone. And some people, like myself currently, are just happy being themselves. And I think the beauty of our community is the fact that we are all different and we all come in different shapes and sizes. And yeah, that makes us all beautiful and powerful. My favourite part of my body would be my hands. And ironically, they used to be something I hated. When I was younger, I had a lot of kind of issues with the way I looked, in my deformities, in my femininity, in my kind of skinniness. Whereas now, I actually love all those things, and all of those things that I was so insecure about as an adolescent are now what makes me an individual and what makes me kind of strong as a non-binary femme-presenting person. And my hands are what I think carries my gender. They allow me to articulate how I feel and how femme I am. Ever since I was small, I've always knew I was a bit different and not necessarily in a queer way. I think I was quite the spectacle at school. I think I turned a lot of heads just in the way I looked. And I guess it, for a lot of my life, it really stopped me from doing things. It stopped me from interacting with other people. It stopped me from going to clubs. It was a real block of kind of finding my identity. And I think when I was about 17, I kind of got to a situation in my life or a point in my life where I was just so unhappy, and I thought, I need to turn it around, and I need to do what is going to make me happy, and that would be coming out as non-binary. And I think now, when people look at me, I think, well, if they're going to stare, then at least give them something beautiful to look at. What's quite frustrating for me, and particularly on kind of queer dating app, is the really strong fetishization of our bodies. It frustrates me because actually I'm a human being, and all trans people deserve the same respect as any human being, and we deserve to be loved. We're not an experiment to be played with, we are people. It's totally okay to want kind of casual get-togethers, but it's a kind of gross elevation of our bodies, and I think it's a very extreme form of complimenting to the point it's actually almost too much, and I don't know, almost a bit offensive. I think it's so important and so imperative to have a good circle of people around you who don't question the integrity of who you are, and who love and embrace your your gender and who you are, and adore to watch you grow. I think that's so important. I'm very blessed that I interact with a lot of queer people, and I have a really beautiful group of friends who love me for who I am, and I'm very fortunate.